Alright, so we got the blank pretty well shaped. I'm going to take this sand and screen, do a little bit more fine tuning on the edges. Get it all rounded up nice and pretty. Sand and screen's cool because it bends to the curve real nice. Get a nice clean edge. Make sure there's no lumps and bumps. Look at the evenness. We'll talk about glassing a little bit. If you've never done it, go to surfersteve.com and see his book on making your first surfboard. This is a skimboard, but it's made the same way as you'd make a surfboard. Shaped foam, and then we're going to glass it. You got two ways to go. You can go epoxy glass or regular fiberglass resin and glass. Both ways you're going to use glass cloth. Now, with styrofoam, it'll melt with solvents. It'll melt with fiberglass resin. Epoxy resin won't melt it. So I like to use epoxy resin on styrofoam just to be safe. Now I've heard you can use a layer of latex paint, and that'll form a skin to protect the styrofoam from melting with the fiberglass resin. I know that you can coat it with a Elmer's glue, paint it on real thick, and that will protect it from the resin. You won't get as gloss of a finish as fiberglass resin, but here's one of my boards that I did. And I painted it first, mainly because I don't really want a pink skimboard. The spray paint will melt your styrofoam, but you can use this Krylon water-based latex spray paint, and then you can spray it all out, and then you don't have to have a pink surfboard or skimboard, pardon me. This red lettering likes to bleed through, so it takes a couple coats. Latex paint, same as house paint. A darker color is going to absorb more heat if you leave it out in the sun, and could cause some problems with delamination. So that's something to think about. You're going to need 2 layers of cloth on the bottom and 3 layers on top. Or on top you can use 2 layers and then a deck patch in the high contact area. So you're going to need at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers of cloth altogether. The more cloth, the stronger it will be, but it'll also make it heavier. And if that's not confusing enough, go ahead and look at surfersteve.com and read, read, read. You'll learn a lot. One thing I've found is this Bondo fiberglass cloth you can get at Home Depot, and each pack just happens to be the right size for a skimboard. And get yourself, damn dogs, get yourself a quart of epoxy. 1 quart of epoxy should do 1 skimboard. If you're not familiar with glassing techniques, look on YouTube under laminating surfboards, glassing surfboards. There's so many videos to watch. I really can't go into all that in my 10-minute allotted time here. Alright, more latex paint. Alright, so once you got it all painted up, unless you want to do some extra designs, get some paint pens and draw something, maybe some more of that H2O based Krylon latex spray paint, do some designs. I'm just doing it half and half. Got the edges nice and rounded there. So really, once this paint dries, it's ready for glassing. Like I said, I started making these skimboards for smaller practice before I started making surfboards.